3 Kentucky jail inmates are in the hospital after being attacked by a dog, and people in Maui keep rebuilding one day after President Biden's visit.
Plus, high pressure keeps us dry and hot for the middle of the week. Your full forecast coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
3 jail inmates are in the hospital after being attacked by a dog. It happened in Casey County. The inmates were on work release when the attack happened. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has been gathering details and has more from Liberty.
Well, this happened around 7:40. I'm told that there were 3 inmates that were at the animal shelter when they were then attacked by a dog that they were trying to care for. Now, police say that one woman was trying to let a pit bull out of the kennel when suddenly it attacked her and then went after 3 others. One was able to get away by climbing on top of a pickup truck, but a total of 3 women were hurt and were taken to the hospital.
I talked to one of the inmates, and she said that she's very familiar with this dog, and it just never did anything like this before. She says it's always been nice, and said this morning she had leaned down to put the leash on it to let it out, and it went between her legs, and she turned around and it just starts attacking all of them.
The women had injuries to their arms and legs. I'm told that they were very serious, but they were not considered life-threatening. The chief tells me also that this dog went after them and they had to put the dog down. In Casey County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say they are not aware of any previous issues with the dog. An Ohio judge is being asked to dismiss all charges against the black truck driver who was seen on body cam bitten by a police dog during a traffic stop. On July 4th, the 23-year-old led police on a long pursuit after failing to stop at an intersection. The prosecuting attorney says there appears to be no evidence the man was fleeing immediately after the commission of a felony. The officer who unleashed the dog was terminated. The Harlan Independent School District will see lower property taxes again this year. The board unanimously voted to lower the rates from 52.8 cents to 52.1 cents per $100. Superintendent of Harlan Independent Schools, C.D. Morton, says Harlan Independent has some of the lowest rates in the state, and that is all thanks to good fiscal management and support from the community to better their schools.
The average of all the independent school districts was around 88 cents per $100, and we were at 52.8, which is, more than 30 cents lower than the average independent school district in terms of tax rate, and so we'll be in that same spot again this year.
Morton also says Harlan Independent Schools have a strong student enrollment this school year, and that leads to more funding for the school system. The Pikeville Comic and Toy Convention is on the calendar this weekend, bringing comics, collectibles, and more to the Appalachian Wireless Arena. The event is celebrating its 6th year, bringing together fans of all kinds, from comics to movies to video games and more. A day of dressing up and meeting like minds surrounded by pop culture and entertainment.
Well, we've seen it grow just not only by attendance, but also by booth sales. So this year, the entire arena floor will be covered with vendors and exhibitors.
Hear more about the convention and its growth coming up at 6.
Warm temperatures and hazy skies do continue across the mountains for the rest of your Tuesday. Here's a live look right now over at Buffalo Mountain. You can see we are dry, also under some blue sky, but also hazy back there as well. And that current temperature is warm at 88 degrees over at Buffalo Mountain right now. Most of us in the upper 80s and lower 90s, 91 for Manchester and Somerset, 89 for Irvin, and 88 for Jackson, also over in Floyd County as well. As we go into this evening, we do stay dry under that partly cloudy to mainly clear sky, and those temperatures are mild and muggy as we wake up on Wednesday. Lows fall into the upper 60s and lower 70s as you wake up and walk out the door. And more warm and muggy weather is on tap for much of this week, but notice by late this week, also early next week, potentially some cooler and drier air begins to work into the mountains. Those details plus your full 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Olivia?
Cameron, thank you. One day after President Biden visited fire-ravaged Lahaina, Hawaii, recovery efforts continue as many fire victims begin the process of putting their lives back together. Danya Backus has the latest from Lahaina.
Many people in Lahaina warmly welcomed President Biden and the First Lady Monday as they toured wildfire damage. But some residents are now anxious to see if the president's promises of unwavering federal aid are kept and when that help will arrive.
His words will be hollow unless there's action behind it.
Susie Richter lost her home in the fires.
What happens after this and what happens next? We're all watching. The world is watching.
The Biden administration has approved at least $8.2 million in federal aid, including $3 million in initial rental assistance that's already been handed out.
Country grieves with you, stands with you, and will do everything possible to help you recover, rebuild, and respect culture and traditions when the rebuilding takes place.
More than 1,000 federal personnel remain on the ground here on Maui, including nearly 450 search and rescue experts.
Hey, buddy, ready to go?
Christy Borman and her dog Canyon are one of 40 cadaver dog teams sifting through what remains.
We hate that this has happened to these people, but we're very passionate about getting answers for as many families as we can.
With hundreds of people still listed as missing, authorities expect the death toll to keep rising. Danya Backus, CBS News, Lahaina, Hawaii.
One nonprofit organization that builds homes for homeless veterans has suffered a major setback after somebody stole more than $10,000 worth of tools and supplies from them. Anthony Roberts from Steadfast for Veterans showed up at the work site in late July. He found the trailer he stored his tools and supplies in was open. The thief or thieves cleaned it out, leaving Roberts with nothing.
This whole project was started because we have got too many homeless veterans in our country. And trying to help them to have that done, that was a huge slap in the face to not only our organization, but the veterans as a group.
Roberts says the tools and materials were insured, but getting reimbursed for them will take time. Coming up, as First at 4 continues, a survey is showing more Americans are wanting to switch jobs.
And we stay mild into this evening, but some changes on the way by this weekend, also next week. Those details coming up after this break.